discretion is advised.
Tommy Lee Jones, let's go home. Wesley Snipes.
Nah, you go home.
Give me a reason. I've been trying.
Yeah, I might go crazy. I might go MJ back in the 80s, back in the 90s. I might go off, or they better not try me. It might get dicey. I ain't trying to go back to the old me. I'm trying to hang on like my mama told me.
It's the day one.
Right, welcome to another edition of AAC Show. This time I'm talking about the first two Blade movies. These should be pretty relevant since we just saw Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine. I am not sick anymore. I was a little bit under the weather last week. It didn't really show that much, so you might have been able to tell. But yeah, I'm not sick anymore. I just wanted to say that real quick. Alright, so if you were unfamiliar with the character of Blade, he's basically half human, half vampire. His mother was bitten by a vampire when she was pregnant with him. She died, but he lived. So he was given, or was born with all of the strengths of the vampires, but none of their weaknesses basically, except he still thirsts for human. He still wants like human blood. So he does take like the serum that kind of like calms that down, suppresses that. He's teamed up with this older dude, Whistler, Abraham Whistler. Blade's of course played by Wesley Snipes, if you don't know. Whistler's played by Chris Christopherson, rest in peace, who has passed away. I'm not sure what year. I just saw that in the YouTube comments when I was watching a few scenes from this movie again. So in this first Blade movie, and in the Blade movies overall, vampires exist. They're kind of like a secret, kind of underground world. There's a scene where Blade says like they have their hands in like a lot of stuff, like politics, finance, maybe banking, also real estate. They're involved with the police as well. So Blade and Whistler hunt vampires. That's just their mission. They hunt vampires. This movie doesn't have a super complicated plot.
Hey, Blade!
Let's do this.
This is just a pretty entertaining kind of summer blockbuster movie. This and the other two Blade movies. Well, you know, I have mixed feelings about the third one. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But mainly the first two are the really good ones. Third one, you know, they kind of sidelined Wesley Snipes a little bit, kind of forced Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds in there a little bit more, but did have this memorable scene.
Now, what's behind door number one?
Can't tell you, they'll kill me.
Kill you, motherfucker! I'll kill you. I'll just enjoy it better.
So the villain of this movie is this guy Deacon Frost. You know, I don't know if it's like a church deacon or not, but that's the villain's name. This super pale dude. He disagrees with this vampire council who like meets at like this table. There's you know, several of them. He thinks the vampire should be ruling the humans, and wants to unlock some kind of secret ritual with some kind of what they call in the movie a blood god, and become like all powerful and rule the earth. Yeah, some messed up stuff, some kind of demonic stuff.
Krat brucieribus istampol prota Luciano Frost. Jachtus pulilipo. Ochach planica dora sarasto. Mabachachi matia olan paurastu prakarica. Falat poscani krat kodo branco. Chans kalinga pascolza. Sekalabatan capro blade.
Our livelihood depends on our ability to blend in and our discretion.
Maybe it's time we forgot about discretion. We should be ruling the humans, not running around making back alley treaties with them. For f***'s sake, these people are our food, not our allies.
You're out of line, Frost.
Am I?
So that's the main conflict of this movie. Blade and Whistler a little bit trying to stop Frost from, unlocking this demonic ritual crap and trying to rule the humans. Also along the way, a hematologist, Karen Jensen, played by, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, Nabushi Wright. She gets bitten by one of the vampires. Blade rescues her at the last minute and decides to save her. And he is able to save her. There is a little bit of conflict on whether or not she'll turn anyway. Does she, fully get recovered or not? Not a super huge conflict, just kind of like a little minor question the movie asks here and there. But she's also along for the ride. And she's fine. She's fine.
Who are you people?
My name's Abraham Whistler. You've met Blade. You gotta understand, they're everywhere. Vampires. The Homines Nocturna. We hunt them, you see. Moving from one city to the next, tracking their migrations. They're hard to kill. They tend to regenerate.
And I'm supposed to believe all this.
Well, you already met Mr. Crispy at the hospital. What do you think?
I wish she had at least made a cameo in the second one. It would have been cool if she was in the second one. So this is, as I said before, a very entertaining blockbuster movie. I really enjoy the action scenes. I think Wesley Snipes is pretty cool as the role of Blade. He has a lot of charisma, a lot of coolness to the character. Really makes the character, and is a big part of what makes these movies work. This first movie, as I'm talking about right now. There is a decent amount of blood in this movie. There is some gore in this movie. You might want to be careful watching this movie while you're eating. You might not want to eat anything too heavy. If you're a little squeamish, then definitely be careful watching this movie. It's definitely earns the R rating. Same thing with the second one. I'll talk about that obviously a little bit more here in a little bit. Some of the CGI though was kind of outdated though. This movie came out in 1998. There was one scene with some techno music where I was like, yo, this is super 90s. There were some scenes that did age well. I thought the cinematography was pretty well, but yeah, you'll definitely notice a little bit of CGI and some of that super 90s techno music.
Too late, Blade.
I like all the actors in this movie. Wesley Snipes does a great job as Blade. Whistler, Chris Christopherson does a good job as Whistler, as being kind of like a smart alecky, kind of wise, kind of a little bit wise old man. And Nabushi Wright does a good job as Karen Jensen. I thought she was really good too. And the villain, I think Stephen Dorff, I think that's how you say his name. He plays a scumbag villain. The villain's supposed to be a scumbag, and he does a good job playing a scumbag. You definitely want to see him get beat up by Blade. Fun fact: this movie, the screenplay was written by David S. Goyer, who did work on Training Day, the movie that Denzel won his second Oscar for. Obviously, we know he should have won his first Oscar for Malcolm X. I will also mention there's another little side villain, kind of Frost sidekick, Quinn. He was like annoying and funny at the same time.
Quit. I'm getting a little tired of chopping you up. Thought I might try fire for a change.
There's also a moment where like there's two face explosions that remind me of a scene in Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, it was kind of funny. They definitely did them folks dirty. Overall, I'm gonna give this first Blade movie 3.5 out of 5 stars. Pretty rewatchable. I'm definitely gonna watch this time and time again in the future. I really like this movie, and now I'm gonna get into just a few spoilers. They had my guy Blade down bad for a minute. You know, of course, like what do they say? Like this might sound kind of corny, but they say like, you know, they don't want the hero to be like indestructible or like invincible, so sometimes they show him being like beat or something like that, just so like the movie feels like there has some like significant stakes, you know, if the hero's not like super indestructible or like perfect. But saying that, you know, they had my guy Blade down bad. Got beat up in front of his own mama. I mean, you know, not like his mom is like he knew her originally, but like his own mom, and his mom was cuddling up with the villain. Yeah, they had my guy Blade down bad for a minute. He deserved his revenge. Also, the scene where they're taking Blade's blood is mad disturbing to me. I definitely don't like. As I said, there's definitely a few scenes in this movie where you're gonna be you need to be cautious if you're eating while watching this movie. I definitely find that scene disturbing.
You got the best of both worlds, don't you? All our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
But maybe I don't see it that way.
Oh, so it's back to pretending we're human again? Come on, spare me the Uncle Tom routine, okay? You can't keep denying what you are, man. You think the humans will ever accept a half-breed like you? They can't. They're afraid of you. And they should be. You're an animal. You're a f***ing maniac.
Is that you? He's here! He's here!
This must be Pearl, the record keeper.
Alright, so in this Blade movie, Blade is back. In the beginning of the movie, he's looking for Whistler. Spoiler alert for the first movie real quick. I'm just going to spoil something real quick. It's going to be... Well, I'll say it's without a spoiler. Basically, he's looking for Whistler. Spoiler alert real quick. Whistler died in the first movie. Frost and some of his guys had attacked him to the point where, like, they beat him to death, basically. And he decided to put himself out of his misery early and killed himself, but he was going to die anyway. So he had got caught and was being used by vampires basically just to get like beaten up. So and yeah, he was just basically just getting tortured over and over again. So Blade starts off the movie looking for him, and he finds him. Also along the ride for this movie, besides Blade and Whistler, Scud.
Whistler, nice to meet you, man. I heard a lot about you. Josh, you can call me Scud, though. Everybody does.
Tell me something, Skid.
No, man, it's Scud. Scud like stud, Scud.
Whatever.
Played by Norman Reedus from Walking Dead, and now he has his own show, I guess. They're milking that franchise way too much. I don't know if the show's good or not, but, you know, just saying. I mean, was Fear the Walking Dead even good? I mean, didn't that last like 7 seasons? I don't know if that's still going or not.
Blade. Here I am. Why kill me? You and I, we have the same enemy. We want the same thing.
So there's a new vampire strain, new breed of vampire out. The strain started by this guy, Jared Nomak. They were trying to, do something. I don't want to spoil anything, but basically, there's this new breed of vampire out that are more dangerous, more lethal than vampires.
Unfortunately, viruses evolve too. We've encountered a new one. We dubbed it the Reaper strain. And like any good pathogen, it appears to have found a carrier. There, Jared Nomak.
Born a vampire, but an anomaly like you. Unlike the rest of us, however, he feeds on not just humans, but vampires as well.
Looks like he was doing me a favor.
So Damaskinis, I believe I'm saying his name right, enlists the help of Blade and Whistler to help him out with this group named the Blood Pack that was originally trained to hunt Blade. They've been trained to hunt him for 2 years. Enlists his help, makes a truce with him, or offers a truce with them to help him hunt this new breed of vampires, because it's in his best interest to get rid of these new vampires too, because they're pretty dangerous and they spread even faster than normal vampires. So you have that main main conflict of the movie going on, and also you don't know if there's going to be some double crossing involved, since Blade's working with some people that are, technically his enemies. They're just, working a truce for now, kind of like, not exactly the same thing, but I'm just thinking of like Goku and Piccolo on Dragon Ball Z. I think this Blade movie is even better than the first one. I really enjoy this. This is one of my favorite action movies of all time. The Blade movies technically qualify as superhero movies, even though he's not a traditional superhero like Superman or Batman. Well, Batman, doesn't have powers like, Superman or something like that, but you know what I'm saying. But this is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, if we're considering Blade a superhero movie, which technically it is. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, really action-packed. I thought Guillermo del Toro, who's the director on this one, did not direct the first one. The first director was Stephen Norrington, who I'm not too familiar with. Guillermo del Toro I'm a little bit more familiar with. I don't want to diss him right now, but he did do Shape of Water, which I walked out of in theaters, the fish sex movie. That's just kind of why I know this. But he does like these fantasy type movies. He also did Pan's Labyrinth, which I actually did like, Crimson Peak too. A few other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. He really does his thing with this second Blade movie. Now, once again, I'll say you want to be careful watching these movies while you're eating. That was the case with the first one. That was the case with this one. These movies are also not for the faint of heart. If you're super squeamish, if you don't like any gore at all, definitely, I'll just say straight up, just stay away from these movies. There's some gore up in here. There wasn't as much kind of bad CGI or CGI that was outdated in this one as I had noticed in the first one. Whistler has some pretty funny cussing up in here, some funny comebacks up in here. And Blade also has a really solid scene, which is probably one of my favorite scenes in the Blade franchise.
Hey, me and the gang were wondering.
What was that?
Can you blush?
Here we go, Poppy.
Oh, I get it. I see now. You've been training for 2 years to take me out. And now here I am. Ooh, so exciting, isn't it? Okay, here's your chance. Come on. Come on, what are you waiting for? Here I am, right in front of you. Adolf here gets the first shot. Come on, what are you looking at her for? You need permission? Or maybe you need a little bit of incentive, huh? Okay, I can help you with that. What's the matter? You missed that? It's okay, I can do it again.
Dobre, Reinhardt. Dobre.
Come on. What, you need a manual? Do it, come on! Didn't see hole! Now you got an explosive device stuck to the back of your hand. Silver nitrate. Rigged to go off if anybody tampers with it. I'll have the detonator with me. You so much as look at me wrong. From now on, we work as a unit. You've been taking orders from me.
Now, I want to say something about this scene. I want to address something. Now, I recorded this scene, on my phone from the Blu-ray, the DVD I was watching, just because I really liked the scene. And I titled the video, Blade Checks Dude for Racist Joke. It makes him look like a you-know-what. And I had a few people, or one person comment and say that, how was the joke that he had made racist? And they claimed that Wesley Snipes said that it was a reference to him being half human, half vampire, because the Blood Pack, they're all vampires. So he claimed that I was wrong in saying that that was a racist joke. And as I said, I already linked the scene. He asked him, "Can you blush?" I think I might have been asked that a few times, or had a few jokes made about that towards me in like elementary school or something like that. So I looked up a little bit of IMDb trivia on the film, and it turns out that was meant to be a racist joke, and it was meant to add tension between the two characters of Blade and Reinhardt. And I even double-checked the IMDb trivia. I checked the DVD commentary with Wesley Snipes, and I'll link it right here. Wesley Snipes even said that was a reference to a racist joke. He said someone had, I'll just link it.
You know, a white cat actually asked me that one time. Can you blush?
I know.
That's where we got that from.
Yeah.
The cat in Germany, right?
Yeah, you told me about that story in Germany with that Austrian guy.
Yeah.
And that was my little homage.
You got a tongue lashing.
Well, I thought that was so insane. I think you were there, for the meeting the distributors in Germany or something.
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy.
But he didn't know, I guess. He knows now.
Yeah, especially when he sees this movie.
How ironic is that?
So I'm sure the person who commented that isn't even watching that, but I just want to say I was right. I was right. Now I did really snap. I did go off. I like to control my temper, but I just want to say I was right. All right, a little more on this movie. The character Anissa. I read that him and her and Blade were originally meant to have a sex scene together. You can kind of feel that there was supposed to be like kind of a romance between them. You kind of feel that in some scenes with just like how the characters are interacting between each other. I have mixed feelings on if the movie decided to go that direction. I think that would have been a little bit forced if the movie decided to do that. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. It would have been, cool to see Blake get himself a woman, but not with someone from a group that's been hunting him for 2 years. I don't know if that was the right direction. I think I read someone in a comment online say that. I kind of agree with that. Yeah, even though you could feel that they dropped a romantic kind of subplot between the two, slash, you know, the sex scene too. The relationship between them does feel kind of forced a little bit. They do feel a little closer than you would expect them to be. It's kind of like, all right, Blade, you just met her. All right, you just met him. You know, I guess it might have been a little more cringe if they had gone forward with maybe the sex scene. I don't know how that would have turned out. I'm kind of curious, but also kind of glad they didn't go that route. It's just that this movie doesn't need that. You know, it's not necessary to the movie. So you have the plot of them trying to get these new vampires, and Nomac's also up in the mix too. They're also trying to find Nomac a little bit. And Nomac, he is angry at his father, Damaskinos. So he kind of wants some revenge. So that's a little subplot too. Donnie Yen is in this movie for a few minutes. It was cool to see him up in here for a few minutes. I still gotta watch Ip Man 2. Did do Ip Man for another AAC show a while back. And I saw in the credits that he did the martial arts choreography for this film. Pretty cool. One thing that does kind of mildly annoy me about this movie, there are like 2 moments where Whistler says to Blade, like, hey kid. It's just kind of like, okay, the actors seem like 10 years apart in age. It doesn't really work. Also, at one point, Scott says that Blade kind of looks up to Whistler as a father figure. I read that originally Whistler was black in the comics, so also I'm sure that they actually look more further apart in age in the comics too. But I think that would have, if they had gone that route in the movies, that would have made more sense with that like line of dialogue and him saying like, "Hey kid," because I'm kind of like, all right, y'all get like 10 years apart in age. What are you talking about? Blade 2, the ending is great. This has one of my favorite endings ever. So I'm gonna give Blade 2 4 out of 5 stars. I like this even more than the first one, and it's more rewatchable to me than the first one. The third one to me is a 3 out of 5 star movie. Even though you can kind of feel them trying to sideline Wesley Snipes up in there a little bit, he still makes it like a really good movie. It's still pretty watchable for the most part. Ryan Reynolds is kind of funny up in there, to be honest. So yeah, it's still a watchable movie, even though it's definitely not as good as the first 2. Alright, thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of the AAC show. 3.5 out of 5 stars for the first Blade movie, 4 out of 5 stars for Blade 2. Next week, I got The Waterboy and Office Space, 2 90s movies released in 98, 99. 2 of my favorite movies, 2 of my favorite comedies. I really enjoy this, especially The Waterboy. Waterboy is definitely like top 20 comedies of all time. Office Space, maybe like top 40 or something like that. Anyway, have a blessed week, y'all.